Hello, everybody. This is Jason with Level Head Trading. Going to talk about Tesla and what's happened now since the last video that I made. So, just jumping right in here on the daily chart, we had this back and forth action right here for basically the entire week of last week, except I believe last week was short. So that was technically Friday of the week before. So we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So those were these days. And you see, this was just a battle between the low of 189.13 and the high of 191.95. I believe that was the high during these 4 days, and the low was this candle here at 189.13. So we got over the high, which was no, you know what? I'm sorry. What was I looking at? All right. So the high was 199.44. That was on this day. And the previous day, the low was 189.13. So we were battling between those ranges on the next 2 days. So these 2 days were basically inside bars to this one here and this one. So we closed right at the high of this day right here. The high of that day, it didn't close at this price, but the high of this day was 199.44. That was on Wednesday. So we closed 199.40. So we have increasing volume. So that's another important factor. We are closer to the high here. This is the ultimate one we need to get over in order to then get up into this area of the 382 retracement, which I'm fairly certain we're going to get to. I've been saying that. So that begins at 206.27, right at the low of this candle. This candle was slightly higher at the bottom. So that one, 206.27 is the first target in order to get up into this range. But first and foremost, we need to get over 203.17. Today we got to 201.78, but we closed near the highs. So that's good. So what else? So we have the 12-period exponential moving average. That was resistance, right? When you come up and touch it and you even get close to it, you pull back and you pull back and you pull back. So now we're pushing up into the 26 period. And we're hanging in there. We're not so far rejecting off the 12 anymore. So now we've increased the push, and now we're pushing into this 26 period. So if all goes well, then this 12 will start getting closer to the 26. And ultimately, what you want is we need to get the 12 period to cross over the 26 period. So if we were to get up into this range here at the upper end, then that's when the 12 would start to cross over the 26 period moving average. So very, very good to start the week off because it's just the beginning of the week and we've got pretty good volume there. And we completely engulfed that day's candle. So that's another point in the favor of the bulls. And here's the 200-day moving average. Again, that's up there at 233. And when I go to the weekly chart, you'll see that kind of lines up with that also. So now I'm going to jump into the weekly chart. And, you have to remember that this candle here is just today for the week. So we got a long ways to go to see how that candle finishes. But the previous week, as I had mentioned, that was just back and forth for those 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the high was 199.44. And we're right there. We're right there at the highs, the highest price that all of last week was able to accomplish. And we are right there. So that's really good. So up here is the 12-period exponential moving average on the weekly chart. So we're below that. And if we were to get into that zone of the 382 retracement, again, just going back quickly, this is this area here on the daily chart. So on the weekly chart, that would most likely line up with this 12 period exponential moving average, because currently it's at 208. So that lines up right into that bottom end range of that 206 figure that I was talking about. So it all looks good. And then the other point, again, this is the 200-week moving average. So if you just keep extending it out, it's still has, because we're making progress. So as long as we keep making daily higher highs and higher lows, then this weekly should not start to curve down. So I like that it's going up, and we're not so far giving anything back from the lows of 175.01. So first target is to hit that 12 period exponential moving average on the weekly chart. So that would line up with the daily getting into that range. As far as RSI levels on the weekly, we're currently at 42.69. And on the daily chart, the daily is currently at 50.11. And the average is at 40.99. So based on that, it looks really good. We had this triangular wedge on the daily chart. And once we get over this, then that will be further proof that we snapped through that wedge, because that's basically that's what all of this was. This was a wedge. I really, when I'm talking about this wedge, I should include this one. So you have the high and then the low, and then the lower high and the higher low. So generally, I'll just do this real quick, and this will be the end of my video. So I'm not going to use this daily candle right now, because I'm going to show you what potentially should happen when you break out of a triangular pattern. Whether it's to the upside or to the downside, you just basically draw. I'm just going to do this really quick, so I don't want to take too much time on this. Just to show you. And it's a really neat tool. I don't use it exclusively to make my decisions, but when it does play out, then it's really good at giving you an estimate as to where the price will go afterwards. So when you're in a wedge, like a symmetrical triangle, generally, once it breaks out of that, either to the upside or to the downside, you measure the back end of the triangle. So what I mean is from the high here to the low, and then you move it over to the side where it's going to break out. And it's not for sure that we're going to play out this way, but I'm just saying, if it does play out this way, then the approximate move will be up to here, which is 208.84. And vice versa, I would do the same thing to the downside. If it started to break out of the triangle to the downside, then it would come approximately down to 181. So it's a really neat technique, something that I would say not too many people know about, but I'm sure there's a decent number that do. So anyway, that's it. That's my video for today. I'm still really interested in Boeing, so I don't know if I'll make a video on Boeing today, but take a look at the two videos I made on Boeing, because it's heading to those price areas that I am interested in buying more. A little bit of Boeing, but I would like to own more for sure if it gets down into the mid 190s, potentially down as low as 190, and maybe even a little bit lower than that. So just like I did with Tesla, estimating that it would go down to about 175, even though I didn't catch that, even though I had an order placed at 175 and I missed it by 1 penny, but that was okay because it just gave me confidence that, okay, that's a good level that I can use a stop loss on. And then I was buying in this area here. And then today I made a really nice play off of this triangle. What I did was I used the low of Friday and I said, okay, if this is going to hold this triangle and not break to the downside, then ultimately, really, it shouldn't go much below this 191.36. So I purchased a quantity of shares. I won't disclose how many, but I purchased it immediately as the market opened because it opened right at 192, which was slightly higher by 50 cents than the low of Friday. And I was going to put a stop just a little bit lower than the low here, which was 191.36, probably around 191. But I didn't actually put the stop when I bought. I wanted to just kind of watch real quickly what was going to happen. And then as soon as it started just going up and up and up, it just really never stopped the entire morning. Then I started selling some of the shares that I bought today with this strong move. I didn't expect that we were going to have a move that big today. So I sold probably 60% of that. So now I have a larger position, and I made money on the position that I added today. But I kept a small portion of what I bought today. So now I have an even bigger position. And to me, it's just going to be the lows right here that I would use as the stop for those additional shares. But for my original shares, even if we break below this, I'm going to stick with the 175 as my stop because I think that will be, I'm assuming, I can be wrong, that will be the new low of Tesla, that 175.01. So anyway, that's my video for today. Hope you like it. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.